Hey everybody, good afternoon. Hope everybody's doing well. Checking in the garage here today. We're going to be doing some valve extensions on the dual rear wheel. If you already have a dually or you're thinking about getting a dually, if you already have one, you probably already know the problem and the heartache of airing up and airing down, or even just checking pressure on your rear tires. If you're thinking about getting a dually, you're going to learn very quickly that job is about 3 degrees south of a lot of fun. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. I'll grab a light here and we'll go over to passenger side on my dually. So this is what we're talking about, dual rear wheel. Okay, obviously for towing, that's what we've got ours for, is for pulling the fifth wheel. I don't know if you need the light there or not, but so there's my valve stem for the exterior wheel, the outer wheel anyways. And you see it points in, and then inside of there, I don't know if we can get you there or not, there's a valve stem inside of there for the interior wheel. So when I say more complicated, what I'm getting at is if you've got one of these guys on your air hose, or that's what's at the local service station, forget it, okay? And there's probably a couple of guys that are going to say, hey, I did that once, but to get that in there and to get that on there is basically good luck, because I certainly can't. And then to go in between the wheels and try to get that inside of there and get that on there to add some pressure to it, I'm going to call that impossible. And so if that's what's at your service station, or that's what's at your home, I've got the air hose and tank over here that I can do it at home, but that one's out. I had this guy from Harbor Freight, which actually is not too bad of a tool for doing the bikes and stuff. It locks on. The pressure gauge, I don't think it ever worked actually, but you know, you get what you pay for, and it was fast and easy, and I only paid a couple bucks for it. Hold it and, you know, air up or air down to your desired pressure. But my gauge never really worked. You can see I'm running it, you know, I don't know, I guess about 140 PSI right now. But anyway, so this is just kind of in the drawer now. This guy right here, which is what I travel with, this actually got a brass attachment to do the, I guess the Schraders or the Presties. I can't remember which one, but it's the narrow one, the needle tip ones for the bikes. But anyway, this guy will go on to my camper just fine, the fifth wheel tires, and keep those up to pressure, or check those with me, and it's digital. So it's kind of convenient that it tells me exactly where we're at. But you can't get this in there and get that locked onto that back wheel. So this one's kind of the game. I bought this guy. If you ever wondered what those angles are for, why I would make a stem like that, now you know. Because this guy's got my pressure, quick connect for the air compressor. And this will go in and obviously connect by pulling it back to it. Or when I find the back one, I'm not sure on this side, I'm on the driver's side now, but to go in there and find it and press into it, this is doable. It's still not exactly easy. So why am I checking my pressure so much? Well, you know, I do have TPMS on the truck and the trailer, monitoring the tire pressure as well as temperature to let me know if I'm getting below safe range or if I'm above safe range, or actually chest temperature as well for me. I still like to manually check them before I hit the road and make sure cold pressure is set. The other big thing though is because on this guy, it's got air suspension, but it's, other than air suspension, is leaf springs. And so under load rides great, okay? Rides very comfortable under load, and I'm saying under load like 18,000 pounds of weight on the back. Rides very comfortable. So under load, I run the rear tires on 65 PSI, and I run the fronts on 80 PSI. When I'm not towing, which is right now is a majority of its life, doing this more just my transportation, and then when we take the fifth wheel out, which we're getting ready to do here Wednesday, or another 2 days here, is that I air them back down. So I air the back down to 40s on all four wheels, so they're 40 PSI, and I move the fronts down to, I think they're at 65 right now. And it's not a Cadillac Escalade, I get it. Knocking those tire pressures down makes it a lot more of a comfortable ride. You know, your back end isn't hopping up in the air when you hit a speed bump. Where, I mean, if you run those at 65 on all four in the rear, then you're going to catch air in the back wheel if you're hitting a speed bump for, you know, anything more than just about a couple miles per hour. So I do kind of go back and forth pretty regularly enough that I decided it was time to go to a different operation here. I went on and found these on eTrailer. This is not sponsored by eTrailer, okay? By the way, if they are interested, I'd be more than happy to talk to them. Kind of wanted a set for me. If you go on to that other big brand online retailer, you can find them for about $40. They are made in another country, and no telling how long they're going to last or if they're going to be worth anything. I decided that this was not something to go cheap on. So literally it's only another $20. So I paid, I think, about $70 or $75 for these things from eTrailer. They're US made, stainless steel, copper. They're stainless steel braided, they're copper, and they're stainless steel coated, I guess. And so I'd seen a couple guys that had gotten probably some cheaper ones, I'm guessing. And they complained after having them, they were constantly chasing leaks with them. I suspect probably manufacturing is the issue there, because otherwise it's just a valve stem. It just screws in, and once it's tightened down, it's on there. So it shouldn't be leaking. We're gonna do checks for leak. Nonetheless, this is what I got, and hopefully you're gonna see me put these on properly today. So this is not my invention. This is another guy that I saw online do this as the way to get the beauty cap off of our center wheel here. The idea apparently is to find the two notches that are on here. Instead of using a pry bar and risking banging up your cap, use a come along strap to kind of equally put tension on both sides to pull it off. I think this strap is probably too big, so bear with me. Okay, we got a smaller one here. Let's see if this guy so hopefully you can kind of see what I've got set up here. And I don't know if I'm doing this 100% right. Instead of prying on the back of this piece of plastic, I'm gonna try to do equal force. I gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous doing this. Because I don't want to, I'm already bending it. I don't like this. We're going to try something else. This is what's underneath the seat. So I guess I should make sure I know how to do this now. I'm on the side of the road someplace. That was a lot of effort for not a lot of, well, it wasn't much effort actually, I should say. Okay, that did a lot better than I thought it was going to. I was afraid that was gonna break that guy, because I've never pulled this off, but I'm glad I did it now instead of waiting to be on the side of the road someplace and not ever doing this. So part of this is my learning lesson as well. And we need this off anyways because we're gonna put some L brackets on. That's where the valve stems are either there or there. I haven't seen anybody online that did one with a 2024 yet. These probably aren't too very expensive to replace if I destroy them, so we'll see how it goes. On breaking these lugs here, I am not going to use this guy because this is terrible. In fact, I'm not even sure how I would do that, because for a dually that's not really set up for that, but we'll use a better tool. I'm gonna try this on camera. I don't know if it's gonna work. Kind of was hoping this tool would solve this need for me, and like I said, for like a roadside repair. And so I'm gonna see if this guy has enough braking power to break this guy free. Well, I guess I should probably put a battery in it. Quite honestly, turn it on, put it on auto. I'll be surprised if this breaks it free, but we'll see. I think it's 140. Well, there we go. Okay, well, it does. Leave those on for now. So, before you guys start hating on me for my tools, I'm not a pro. I got a kit with a little impact and a screw gun or a drill and a battery kit and a charger 1 year for my daughter. And of course that married me to a Ryobi. And so now everything I buy is yellow because I got the batteries for it. So this isn't a bad impact though. This is the biggest one they had on there, but it's a P262, 1/2 inch, and it has 800 RPM, 200 minimum RPM. Forget what the braking force is, but anyway, I'll maybe put it at the bottom. It seems to work, and this is what I got it for, is hopefully for a roadside repair that I don't have to use a spanner or a old-fashioned lug wrench to get my wheels off. So let's get the guy in the air, start figuring out these valve stems at. This guy should be free. Now I've seen someone else take one of these off. They had to break it free from the inner wheel. It had been on there for a while, I think, and maybe up north where there's a little bit more salt and rust. This is pretty new. It's got 22,000 miles on it. I think I just hit my 1-year anniversary according to RAM with it. So I'm hoping this isn't locked too tight to this thing. I'll find out in just a second here if this thing is going to come off for me or if it's going to fight. I think the problem is that the inner wheel is steel and the outer wheel is aluminum, and they're dissimilar metals, and they like to bond to each other. Oh, it felt like it just moved, so I think we might be okay. In fact, I know it just moved. Okay. Not a lot of rust and corrosion on the inside of that thing. I guess if you let them, if they sit, someone I saw doing this said you ought to probably break them free about once or twice a year, depending on probably where you live and what kind of weather you're driving in. But like I said, this is only a year old, 22,000 miles on it, no snow or salt, all just Florida rain and stuff. So came off pretty good. So we're in good shape there. Next step. Okay, so I didn't show you the whole kit, probably just a glance at it. But anyway, we got these inside guys that are for, obviously inside of the wheel, it's a straight one. And then these guys are going to go to the interior or the exterior stem and give it a bend back out to the front. We got some decent flex in them, obviously they're still braided hoses. And they got brackets for, depending on what you have, you're gonna put it on lug nuts. We're actually gonna put it on the beauty cover or the wheel cover, these little L guys. And they came with the rivets for them. I didn't have a rivet gun, so brought my trusty dusty $4.99 hand riveter. I've tried it once. I didn't have a catastrophic failure yet with it, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so this guy right here, and a pair of pliers. Okay, so my plan, I'm hoping this works out okay, is gonna be that this guy's gonna be here, and then when I put the front wheel on, the outer wheel, I'm gonna line it up so that stem is down there. So I've got them coming out to both sides of the hub. That's the goal, to align the lug nut so that it's coming out where I want it to be. So that's my goal. We'll see how this goes. And with that, I can hear air. No, I can't hear air. I don't know if as tight as that goes. So I did bring a little pair of lockers because there's no bolt head on the front of this thing to. So I got 65.5. We're good to go for that. A little bit of soapy water here. I'm gonna call that a win. Okay, inner wheel. Outer wheel, sorry. Can't keep my stuff straight. Keep those guys just for case. Now these do have nuts on them. Looks like a number 11 is my guy. Certainly would go like this if I get it started and out, but that's not going to be the way I want it. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So where this stem turns in, there's not enough room to get this L into that and come back out the same hole. So I'm putting it behind a hole and coming out another one. But then I want to make sure I've got enough room to turn it out and rivet it to the beauty ring. What I'm trying to do is get the stems, each valve stem on basically opposite sides, so they're kind of equal from each other. Where the fitting is going to go to the center cap, so they're balanced. It won't affect balance, I don't think, at all. But I feel better if it's doing that. So that's what I'm kind of figuring out now, is this back guy is going to come through and how much distance I'm going to have on him, because this is over 1. Figure out the math here real quick with you. So this is what I'm working on here, and I think this is probably the most complicated part, or maybe I'm just making it more complicated, but I've got them coming out of opposing holes, so they're offset from each other. So when I put the cap on, they'll rivet here and rivet here into the cap. The back one obviously has a little bit more room up for play, because this guy is being taken up with all that space there. Try to go behind the wheel, so basically coming off the wheel, clocking it on each lug and putting it back on, just to kind of make sure I'm where I like it, where they're opposing sides. So technically not well, actually technically they are, because here's a valve stem here and there's the valve stem in there, so they are really opposing sides there. Just the stems are turned or clocked one hole over. But anyway, that's what I'm messing with anyways, to give you an up close view for it. All right, I think we're ready for the next step. So I'm going to mark holes on the side of this, where I know that I finally decided after great debate that the L brackets should go, and that's going to be these guys right here. So these will hold the stem right here for me. The way this beauty ring is built is that where the bolt is at is actually not where the bolt is at, it's on the other side, so it's in between. So where you put it where the bolt would be at, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, I got to put it in between, but that's actually where the structure is at. So I'm putting it basically on the side of where the fake bolt is at, in order for it to match up with where my stems come out of the wheels. And I used a black Sharpie. There it is, there's one. The other one's right there. So I used the opposing side and just off center from the bolt from either side. So basically like 330 and 930 to make it even on there. I'm not a rivet guy, I'm learning as I go. These are rivets that came in the kit though, and these are dropping into the 1/8 hole on my little sizer. So I'm going to use a 1/8 drill bit to set my pilot holes in the beauty ring, drill holes in my brand new wheels, and hopefully this goes okay. I wish I had a silver Sharpie. I know I'm not building a rocket ship here, but I want to make sure it's at least as straight as I can get it. We'll put it on the drill bit side. Hopefully this doesn't walk on me. Okay, we're back over here at the wheel. Sorry about the terrible lighting. Anyway, we're going to be dropping this guy. Well, first get our lugs on there, and according to the internet, the lugs go on good and tight. Actually, they're 180 foot-pounds for a dual rear wheel, 140 for a single rear wheel. That's what the internet tells me. Anyway, I'm gonna ram these on with my gun. It's probably gonna put them about 180 anyways, and then I'm gonna check them with a wrench real quick. I'm sure it's gonna click out right away. We're gonna get these on a lot faster with the gun, and that's gonna, if it broke them free, I'll probably put them on. Alright, so those guys are in there, and I got these are 3/8 inch little nuts that go on there to keep them in place. Okay, I think that's enough light for you guys to see what's going on here. So we got those little retainer nuts on there. Brass lines or steel braid lines are coming through. Much easier connection here. I think now I can actually use one of these guys or just a standard gas station fitting if I wanted to. So I'm going to check pressure. I got pressure at the stub, the valve anyways. Wake this up and 65 psi. I'll tell you what, life is a lot better doing it with these guys than trying to lay on your back with that other apparatus I showed you. 65. Not too bad of a job. Probably took more time trying to film it than it did actually doing it. And then just figuring out which, where I wanted these guys to lay at. This second side, the driver or passenger side, is gonna probably go a lot smoother. So I'm gonna shut down, get the other side done real quick, and then check back in with you guys at the end. And done. Obviously, second time didn't take me nearly as long, and you guys may have seen a time lapse on that. We'll see if we put it in, but according to the clock on the camera, that was 12 minutes and 55 seconds for everything. That was including drilling the center cap and riveting it. So not too bad. 13 minutes to install a pair of valve stems. Certainly saved me a lot of effort in the long run for airing up and airing down. And by the way, I'd mentioned, I think on the other side, that I didn't have caps. I was going to look for some valve caps in my drawer, but I didn't see that E-Trailer even sent me the nice little silver valve caps. And those have a little rubber O-ring in them so that it's going to keep your pressure from leaking if it does want to try to leak out of the end of that, which I'm not getting any bubbles either at the stem or at the new filler. I think that's going to make life a lot easier. Hopefully, I'll update you. We're getting ready to hit the road in a day and a half. We're going to get the trailer and bring it over here and load it all up. I'll take my tire gauge and my filler with me, report back if I'm losing any pressure. But right now I'm running 65 on the rears. Before I forget, I'll go ahead and put the fronts up to 80 tonight also, because like I said, I'm picking up the trailer tomorrow. We'll see if they hold up. So far, pretty happy, very easily installation. I am not a mechanic. I've watched a couple of the videos and some other guys doing some Fords. Similar setup, just a little bit different. You need to make sure when you order your kit that you order it for whether it be a Ram or a Ford, because some of them have a real sharp horseshoe bend on the outer wheel, and some have that L bend that I used on mine, which you see came in right there and then just went to the next hole. I think it depends on your wheel setup too. if you have a bigger, you know, spoke in there, or a, you know, gap in there to be able to put it through. But so anyway, thanks for checking in, y'all. We'll see you on the next time we talk about Bill Over Explains Everything.